It's so weird when you see like a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And what
a good balance of both in my life, of the importance of, of both. And it's hard to maintain. It's hard to do, especially when you're doing a show like that. But, I don't think it was the be kind thing that got her. I think that's simplification.
That she was all of a sudden in the position I was in, where she was starting a show and wanted it to be successful and get the money and the accolades that came with it. And instead of deciding to stand next to me and hold my hand, which is what I did to her, she did the opposite.
Accomplished, you're a comedian, you did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they
dogs
have like
around them.
Yeah, she's got.
For years, Ellen DeGeneres built her image as one of the nicest people in Hollywood, a smiling daytime host, the be kind icon, someone everyone trusted. But now that image is starting to be questioned. Rosie O'Donnell has also made comments that made people think twice about what really happened behind the scenes. And Joe Rogan has also spoken about Hollywood culture and how things aren't always what they seem on camera. After workplace allegations, celebrity conflicts, and old rumors resurfacing, people are no longer seeing Ellen the same way. Old interviews, clips, and stories are being brought back online, and things that were once ignored now feel a bit more suspicious. And as people connect all these moments together, the whole story starts to feel very different.
I have an understanding of the cycle of show business and kind of what happens in people's careers and when enough is enough. And oftentimes people don't know that. I think I have a good balance of both in my life, of the importance of, of both. And it's hard to maintain. It's hard to do, especially when you're doing a show like that. But I don't think it was the be kind thing that got her. I think that's simplification. But it was a lot of things, and it was complicated. And I'm glad that she's, going to be finished and she can get some time, to herself to just. It's a huge kind of strange thing to be on a show like that and have all that attention on you. And she had it for like 19 years. So, it's a tough thing.
Rosie's comments feel interesting because she doesn't sound surprised anymore. It's like she saw Ellen changing slowly over the years, long before everything became public. According to her, it wasn't one scandal. It was years of ego, pressure, and hidden behavior finally catching up. Ellen had full control of daytime TV, with celebrities and audiences trusting her completely. But once behind-the-scenes stories came out, everything changed overnight.
Ellen DeGeneres is speaking out about reports of workplace mistreatment in a letter to her staff. The talk show host shared her initial reaction to the allegations from current and former employees and revealed what actions are being taken to improve company culture. Ellen said she was disappointed to learn about the claims in a recent BuzzFeed article, citing the show's enormous growth over the years and her increased reliance on people to do their jobs as they knew I'd want them done. She went on to acknowledge that clearly some didn't.
I don't think you achieve anything by bullying people.
In a statement to ET, Warner Brothers, the studio behind Ellen's show, claims they have interviewed dozens of current and former employees in the wake of these allegations. They say that during their investigation, it was revealed that there were some deficiencies related to the show's day-to-day management. And that moving forward, the studio and Ellen are committed to creating a workplace based on respect and inclusion.
I stay grateful and I try to stay humble, and I think that I pay attention to what is important and what is real.
These misconduct allegations stem from a BuzzFeed article that was published last week, which included anonymous accounts from a dozen former and one current employee.
This was the exact moment Ellen's image started falling apart publicly. Before this, most criticism stayed online. Rumors existed, stories existed. People whispered about Ellen backstage, but mainstream audiences still saw her as the nice celebrity. Then suddenly, former employees started describing a workplace built around fear and intimidation, and the contrast shocked people. Because Ellen's entire career was built on kindness. That's what made the backlash so brutal. The audience didn't just feel disappointed, they felt lied to, and once trust disappears, people begin revisiting everything differently. Old interviews started resurfacing, former celebrity interactions went viral again. Even jokes that once seemed harmless suddenly felt uncomfortable. Then another tragedy pushed Ellen's name back into headlines once again: the death of Stephen Twitch Boss.
Learning more tonight about the tragic side of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left a suicide note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part.
Twitch's death shocked people worldwide. To the public, he looked successful, happy, and positive, so it was hard for many to understand what happened. Because there were few clear answers early on, speculation spread quickly online. Especially since Twitch was closely linked to Ellen's show, and with Ellen already facing public backlash at the same time, his sudden death fueled even more theories. Soon after, podcasts and commentators started digging into the story, and Ellen's name became part of the wider controversy online.
On the morning of Tuesday, December 12, Twitch packed a small bag with only a change of clothes and his handgun, slipped out of his house without telling Allison, turned his phone to airplane mode so he couldn't be tracked, and took an Uber to the Oak Tree Inn, a dreary two-story motel in a hacienda-style building on heavily trafficked Ventura Boulevard, just a mile from his house, and paid $107 to reserve a room for a single night. Twitch made his way down to room 249 and let himself in. Allison reported to police that Twitch was missing shortly after he had left the house, noting with particular worry that she couldn't reach him by phone, and he had not taken his car with him when he left, two things that she said were very much out of character for him.
Because there were no details about Twitch's death, people just rushed to fill that void. This was at the time when Ellen had built this edifice as the nicest person on television. She would have YouTube stars, and all of a sudden that edifice was crumbling.
The news about Ellen created a wave of online criticism at the time, including some directed at Twitch.
What's happening here is psychological. People weren't just reacting to Twitch's death. They were also watching Ellen's image collapse at the same time. For years, she was seen as a symbol of positivity on TV. So when stories about backstage toxicity came out, people started questioning everything they thought they knew. And once audiences start doubting authenticity, even old clips start to look different. That's why Joe Rogan's older comments about Hollywood also resurfaced, because he often talked about how image is rewarded over character and how people can act very differently off camera.
Hollywood managers who manage kids, it's a racket, man.
Did you hear that kid from
Strange? Grooming these kids, dude.
That kid from Strange Things, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
He just left his manager, and they're alleging sex abuse. They just left their agent. See if you can find that. Owen Benjamin,
the curly-haired kid. Oh, yeah.
And he's Owen Benjamin just put it on his Instagram today because Owen has been taking a lot of heat online because he said that a 3-year-old kid shouldn't be fucking transgender, and people giving him a hard time saying he's a bigot. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? When
What's
you're
up with this transgender?
Stranger Things actor dropped agent because of accused of assault. Disney star follows suit. Jesus Christ. This is nuts.
Watch
man.
An Open Secret, and they go through, dude, they pick they're accusing people. It's for free, I think, on Vimeo.
Yeah,
you can watch it for free. An Open Secret.
It's on YouTube or something.
On Vimeo.
You know what Sturgill Simpson told me? He said the same thing exists in music.
What?
He said in music there's a bunch of pedos and pederasts
for sure.
in music as well.
The entertainment business all the way through. Music, this was about. This is about music and movies and TV. It's about the whole entertainment business.
Women and kids.
Mostly kids.
And
Mostly
sometimes
kids.
dudes. You know, Terry Crews said that he was attacked. Well, not attacked. Some dude grabbed his dick
in front of his
some
wife.
famous dude grabbed.
This is where the story becomes bigger than Ellen herself. Joe Rogan isn't describing one bad celebrity. He's describing an entire entertainment culture built around power, manipulation, and image control. According to Joe, Hollywood protects successful people for as long as possible, and that idea made audiences revisit Ellen in a completely different way, because Ellen wasn't just famous, she was marketed as trustworthy, safe, wholesome, friendly. But once that image cracked, old celebrity interactions suddenly became internet evidence, especially clips involving Diddy.
Is that going to be a new thing? Are you going to try to be early?
Yes, I'm trying to be early.
Are you going to be early for my party?
Yes, I am. No.
No.
You know I have to arrive fashionably late.
All right. Not too late, though.
Not too late?
Not too late, please.
What time would you like me there?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But not too late. Because, you know, once you get there, the party really starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I promise you I'm not going to let you down on this big one.
All right,
For
good.
real.
Good.
Your shoes, your feet are going to have blisters. You're going to be dancing so hard.
I can't wait.
At the time, this interview looked completely harmless, just another celebrity moment on daytime television. But after everything that later came out surrounding Diddy, viewers started replaying moments like this very differently. And once internet audiences smell controversy, they start connecting patterns everywhere, because around the same time, major headlines surrounding Diddy exploded online. Ellen also quietly stepped away from the spotlight and moved overseas. Now, obviously, moving countries proves nothing, but online audiences love mystery, and once people stop trusting a celebrity, every coincidence suddenly starts feeling suspicious. That's exactly what happened next.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very
She could
sincere.
virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia. Could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah,
Release
so,
the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump, we want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites.
Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have reportedly fled the US, bound for the UK, after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said, Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market, and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise.
This was something nobody could have imagined years earlier. People publicly attacking Ellen without hesitation. For a long time, Ellen felt untouchable in Hollywood. But now, celebrities, podcast hosts, internet commentators, even former friends openly criticized her, and audiences loved watching it happen because celebrity downfall stories spread insanely fast online. Especially when the celebrity spent decades building a perfect public image, but then the internet started digging even deeper. People began rewatching strange Ellen clips, analyzing old moments, and turning ordinary interviews into viral conspiracy rabbit holes.
About this facial that you're obsessed with, how many, did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Not everybody.
Okay, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these, some of you, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes the
What are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to
This clip spread across the internet for one reason: timing. When audiences trust a celebrity, weird moments feel funny. But once trust disappears, those exact same moments suddenly feel disturbing. And after Ellen's reputation collapsed, the internet began re-examining everything connected to her. Not just interviews, even her house decor, artwork, symbols in the background of videos, all started becoming part of online conspiracy theories, which pushed the entire conversation into a much darker direction.
And will be their downfall. Or is it just art? And let me be the first to tell you, it's all connected. I mean, if you know, you know. But first, let's go back to that video of Ellen DeGeneres. When the camera turns, you can see the inside of her house. Now, see that picture right there? Well, if you pause it and look it up, it says evil thoughts with revenge right next to it. Here's another picture of Ellen in her house, and this is the picture behind her. Now, the thing I'm curious about is the letters on top of the picture. These look oddly similar to the letters Marina Abramovich writes out when she does spirit cooking. Remember the beginning of the video? It's all connected. And that person that was in all red is Lady Gaga, and she went to Marina Abramovich many times for teaching. But let's continue. This is another picture of Ellen in her home. She's cutting her mother's hair, but what is that picture?
Now this is where facts, speculation, and internet storytelling all start blending together. Because once people become emotionally convinced that a celebrity is hiding something, every tiny detail starts looking important. And whether these theories were true or not, one thing became undeniable: the public no longer trusted Ellen. That's the real reason clips like these exploded online, not because people had proof, but because they already believed the image was fake. And once audiences emotionally turn against someone, the internet becomes ruthless. Even Joe Rogan started reacting to strange similarities people were noticing online.
To that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
Just look at the temple and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background.
What? At this point, Ellen's public image was collapsing faster than almost anyone expected, and suddenly, old Joe Rogan clips started resurfacing everywhere online because years before Ellen's downfall fully happened, Joe already seemed skeptical of her personality, and according to Rosie O'Donnell, Ellen's kindness never felt completely genuine either, which led to one of the most brutal conversations ever publicly made about Ellen.
It's so weird when you see, like, a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that's people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a bitch, right? You're allowed to be a bitch. You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they
dogs
have like
around them.
Yeah, she's got dogs and hoods. If an intern's late, they have a hood on. I don't support that. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I thought of you when Ellen DeGeneres went through her thing, and she goes, "My advice to everybody is, if you're going to be known as something, being known as the be kind lady is probably going to bite you in the ass." And I wondered what that whole queen of nice.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
did bite
thinking,
me in the ass. Yeah.
Did you think it bit you in the ass? I wasn't aware of that. But
not in the way that Ellen's talking about, I think. But, I said the day it came out, look at this, the queen of nice. In a couple of years, it's going to be the queen of lice, the queen of fried rice, the queen of...
This clip hit hard because Joe Rogan says something audiences were already secretly thinking, that Ellen's kindness sometimes looked performative, like a carefully controlled television persona instead of a real personality. And once former employees confirmed stories about fear backstage, viewers started connecting everything together. Because Hollywood has always had a strange relationship with power, people smile publicly, then behave completely differently privately. And according to Joe Rogan, he personally witnessed that culture for years.
There is an arrogance that some stars had, like particularly in the 90s. When I first came to Hollywood, and this is like really evident for me because I was not a star, but I was on a television show. So I got to be around a lot of stars. And there was a way that some of them would treat you. They would let you know that you are subhuman. You are below them. They would communicate with you in the most disrespectful and dismissive ways, like weird, like mousy guys that I could kill, like instantly, and they would just be rude to you in a really weird way because they had power. They had power, and then when an executive would come over, they would turn on the charm. They'd be smiling and laughing, and then you would talk to them at the craft service, and they would dismiss you in the ways. I encountered a bunch of that,
Yeah.
It was commonplace. And it was, I think, a thing that they aspired.
This part explains why Ellen's downfall became so massive online. Joe isn't talking about one celebrity. He's describing an entire system where fame changes how people treat others. A system where success protects behavior. A system where image matters more than character. And according to Rosie O'Donnell, Ellen changed completely once power and success took over her career, not publicly, privately, which made Rosie's personal stories even more painful to hear. Because this wasn't random internet gossip anymore. This was someone describing betrayal from a person she once considered family.
I couldn't believe it.
Why did she say that?
I don't know, because I have photos of her holding my newborn babies. I knew her for 30 years. Like, I don't know, Rosie, we're not friends. It was so upsetting to me that I had t-shirts made. I don't know, Rosie, we're not friends. And I gave them out to my staff because it was very painful. And, you know, we've never sort of gotten over it.
Did she ever reach out to you to explain it or what her thinking was, or?
No.
I mean, I'm not the first person to say this, but she's a strange creature.
Well, you know, we're not similar. I can say that for sure. We're not emotionally.
No.
And I was never asked to go on her show. When I was, it was long after they had been on for many years. And she had the same staff as my show, the same producers, the same everything. And now I don't blame her for doing that. I didn't create the genre of a Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas talk show. You know, this was what I grew up watching. But I did think that she was all of a sudden in the position I was in, where she was starting a show and wanted it to be successful and get the money and the accolades that came with it. And instead of deciding to stand next to me and hold my hand, which is what I did to her, she did the opposite. And I couldn't believe it, you know.
Honestly, this clip probably reveals more about Ellen than any conspiracy theory online ever could. Rosie doesn't sound angry. She sounds hurt. And according to Rosie, once Ellen became successful enough, she slowly pushed away the people who supported her before fame fully took over. That's a pattern people inside Hollywood talk about constantly. People rise together, then power changes everything. But the darkest conversations surrounding Ellen didn't come from workplace allegations. They came from the strange timing surrounding tragedies connected to people close to her, especially Anne Heche.
Anne Heche gets in this accident, and I'm bereft. Now, how did I know her? She did my show twice, and she and Ellen came to my home in Miami and swam in my pool, and we had lunch once. So
Right.
I knew her, you know, not really well, but in the celebrity vernacular, and that she was with Ellen for a while, and then how her career suffered, and her book, Call Me Crazy. There was a horribly, horribly tragic child abuse in that family, and I've always sort of felt sorry for her. So when she's dying and when that all happens, I'm legitimately bereft in a way that maybe surprised me. I'd wake up in the morning and think, oh my God, something's wrong. Oh, Anne Heche is in a coma. Like, it was obsessive to me. So she died tragically.
In May 2002, the Ellen DeGeneres show was canceled, and then 2 months later, Anne Heche, Ellen's ex-girlfriend, was in a really bad car accident where she flew her Mini Cooper into someone's house and it caught fire. And what has never sat right with me is the cross comparison between the coroner's report and the actual aerial footage. The coroner's report says that she was unconscious until her death, after just from smoke inhalation and from being brain dead from the fumes in her brain. But if you look at the footage, she sits straight up, and that takes a conscious effort, I feel, but I'm not a scientist. I mean, I'm not a doctor. But the other thing is her other host, her co-host Twitch, died 4 months after that. And I just think that that's a suspicious amount of like close people around you dying in weird ways.
Anne Heche's death became one of the internet's biggest celebrity rabbit holes, partly because of how shocking the accident looked, partly because of Ellen's history with her, and partly because audiences were already suspicious of everything surrounding Ellen at that point. Now, to be fair, online theories are not proof, but emotionally, people began connecting patterns everywhere, especially with Twitch's death still fresh in everyone's mind. And once audiences emotionally connect multiple tragedies together, the internet narrative becomes almost impossible to stop. which is exactly why Joe Rogan's older conversations about Hollywood corruption exploded again afterward, because suddenly those warnings didn't sound exaggerated anymore.
Your kids be around weird agents and taking auditions.
No, don't let your kids get into acting. Do not let your kids get into that.
Ever worked out?
Well, you know, the other thing is, like, look at what happened with that Sandusky guy. That guy was taking care of kids. Like, his whole thing was like, hey, I do charitable work with children. You know, I do charitable work and I take care of these kids. Camp. Yeah, I'm just all about helping kids. It's all about helping kids. They're our future. If you're an actress and you worked with Harvey Weinstein, you never tried to hit on you. Like, what is wrong with me?
Well, you ugly. Yeah, you ugly.
What is wrong with my face?
They're really going after him. That seems weird.
It doesn't seem weird, dude. Look
Hell yeah, they're going after him.
That guy's entire business. Here's the thing. He's one of many. There's got to be like a bunch of people that ran their business that way.
But Weinstein, they say, like, in Hollywood, like, my agent's like, oh no, yeah, it's about time you got caught. I'm like, what the f? Everyone knew this?
Dude,
like, everyone knew.
Did you see his contract? It was in his contract. The way he had his contract set up was like they had a certain amount of money that he would have to pay if he had a claim against him. It was like...
It was a thing for him.
Yes. Like, he had so many claims. That's like, first offense was $100,000. Second offense was $250,000. Third offense was $750,000. Fourth offense was $1 million. He had it written into his contract with Miramax. His contract with the Weinstein Company. Like,
he owned Miramax, right?
I don't know. Explain that contract. Like, he'd have to pay $100,000.
Yes. They're protecting themselves.
Oh, when they sign
harassment.
When they sign him, they go, okay, the first time you one of these guys, it's going to be $100,000.
Yes.
Second time, it's $200,000.
It's not just. Yes, I mean, it was.
That's
so
how big of a problem it was.
It was such a huge. It was so known of what he would do, and look, even Quentin Tarantino said that he did.
And this is ultimately why Ellen's downfall became so much bigger than just one celebrity scandal to millions of people. Ellen became a symbol of something larger, a reminder that Hollywood image and reality are often completely different things. Because once major scandals involving powerful celebrities started becoming public, audiences stopped automatically trusting the nice person act. People started asking harder questions. How many celebrities are completely different behind closed doors? How many stories stayed hidden for years because fame protected the people involved? And how many public personas were carefully manufactured from the very beginning? According to Joe Rogan, Hollywood has protected powerful people for decades. And according to Rosie O'Donnell, maybe the warning signs around Ellen were there the entire time.